There you go.
Oh my God.
Bingo. No, it's not Ray Cruz. It's not God.
Who is this? Is this Ray Cruz? Wow.
How are you guys?
How you doing, Ray? Great to
Good,
see you.
Good.
Wow.
I see the top. Oh, wait a minute. I got something. Oh, I see.
There you go. Well, you know,
Oh,
it's so glad to be able to do the interview with Ray Bang Bang Martinez.
Wow, Ray, you look great, man.
Same to you, man. All you guys, man. You know, the
Damn.
years have treated us good, I would say.
No, we've been blessed, definitely. We've
Yeah.
been blessed.
Yeah.
We've definitely been blessed.
Well,
Definitely
todo
been
bien?
blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Everything is good to go. You know, we made it to this point.
Right.
finally, huh?
Right? Yeah, man. I'm excited, man. You know, nobody ever asked me about me.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. There it is, man.
That's right.
Years ago.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I can't believe it's you after so many years.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
man.
probably been about 10 years the last time I saw you.
I would say a little bit more than
Maybe
that.
a little bit more.
Outside of Manny's, remember?
Yeah, outside of Manny's, right?
The only difference, you look the same. The only difference is you have a beard, man.
Yeah, I got white hair, man.
Ah, well, everybody has white hair now.
That's right. That's right.
You know, that's part of the process.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. But anyway, listen, I wanted to welcome you to the world of LL de Loisaida.
Thank
And
you.
we're very, really grateful that you're giving us the opportunity to interview you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
You know, it's way overdue. Like I said, you know, in the past, I've been thinking about you, and you contributed a lot to the music world. And, you know, people need to know more about that.
Thank you.
So
I had
thank
a
you.
lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, so did I, and so did Willie. You know, we're all there.
Yes,
So-
sir. Yes, sir.
So thank you so much. So I guess I'll start, Willie. You know, I actually have my first question for Ray. Ray, where were you born, Ray?
I was born in Brooklyn, Long Island College Hospital, downtown Brooklyn.
Why, my daughter was born. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Your daughter was born there?
My daughter was born there in 1985.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. All right.
that's amazing. So Ray, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you started in the music from the very beginning?
Okay, from the very beginning, I would say, when we started in music, or what got me interested in music?
Oh, well, how did you?
I mean, like when I started playing timbales.
Right. Yeah, how did you start into the whole, just in general, the music scene?
Well, you know, you should go back to your childhood.
Your childhood, right?
How you got into sounds.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's okay. When I was 5, I went to kindergarten, and the first time I heard a piano, it struck me. What the hell is that? You know, live piano. I probably heard it on the radio, but didn't know what it was. But then I saw my teacher playing it, my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Cracker, playing it. And I was startled by it. You know, I said, whoa, look at this. What's coming out of there? I like it. I like it. I like it. And I saw her legs moving, and I saw her hands, and I said, whoa, how's she, you know, it's amazing, you know. So, and after that, you know, I was listening to Saturdays when there was no school, I would listen to, lay in bed and just listen to this program that was called Make Believe Ballroom Time. And they played songs like Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, all the pop stuff at that time, and I just loved just laying there listening to it. You know, I was always attracted to music. You know, a little later on, when I got a little older, my Aunt Gracie was a Palladium goer and a dancer, and she used to bring her friends over to practice dancing and all that stuff, and I would just watch. One day she brought over this album, Tito Puente, Mambo Rama, the album was called.
Yes.
And we had just gotten a hi-fi set at that time. They were new. And I happened to be standing in front of it, and she put it on, and the first tune that came up was a tune called Mambolino. and it just blew my mind. I mean, I was in ecstasy. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, what's going on, you know? It's hard to explain what I was feeling at that time, but it was incredible. It was like, you know, another world, you know? So I started trying to get more and more interested in that, but my aunt would hide the record, you know. She didn't want anybody playing with, because it was, at that time, it was 33 RPMs, and they were new, and to her it was gold, and you know, she hid it from me because I used to wait for her to come from work to ask her to play that again. You know, I became a real pain to her because I kept bugging her. I want to hear that. I want to hear that. I want to hear that. You know. But later on, you know, it happened that I heard the whole album, and I was, you know, in there. I was getting some dance steps, trying to, you know, learn that. You know, and right after that, I grew up with Ralph Mercado, the
promoter,
the producer or the manager. I grew up with him. Our families were friends. We lived next door to each other. We went to school together, you know. And he had the same interest. He and I used to hang out and listen to records all day. His favorite was Vicentico Valdez. He couldn't get away from Vicentico. He tried to imitate Vicentico Valdez as a singer, you know. So he was, we had, when we got to be teenagers, 14, 15, we'd have girlfriends on 100th Street on the Upper East Side, you know? And we'd go there, hang out with them, and we'd dance parties. And as I was telling Will the other day, they had, once in a while, they had parties on top of the roof.
Right.
And we used to go there and dance, and it was just, you know, it was just a wonderful era. Plus, Ralphie's sister, Yolanda, was a great dancer, and she showed me how to dance, and it was like, it's hard to explain those days. It's so different from today. The community, you know, the block that I lived, you know, thank God, was like great community, you know, everybody into to dancing, into baseball. We used to play stickball on the street. It was like, for me, you know, that world wasn't going to end. You know, it was something that, you know, when I look back now, I said, you know, I'm very fortunate to have, you know, to have been growing up in that.
Now, this was in Brooklyn, New York, right? Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn, right. Downtown Brooklyn, what they call Cobble Hill today.
Oh, okay.
That area, you know, where the court buildings are near there.
Right.
It was really, you know, it was really an experience, you know. I see my life there as technicolor, you know, bright and everything. It was, you know, bright,
yeah.
You know, it was great. It was great.
I could imagine. I think we all felt, I mean, I know I did too, you know, coming up and growing up in Brooklyn. I was 11 years old. Yeah. So I kind of get where you're coming from, you know. Wow, that's great information, Ray. So Ray, let me ask you a question. Were your musical taste influenced by your parents by any chance?
My parents?
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, you know, after a while, my father used to like it. I can't think of his name now. Oh, Rolando Laseri.
Wow.
Rolando Laseri. He loved Rolando Laseri. My mother, I can't, you know, she had any specialties of what she liked. I wouldn't remember that. But, you know, she did like Latin music a lot, you know. And also, she was a fan of, Nat King Cole, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my father was definitely Rolando Laseri, you know. And I like, you know, I used to, because he listened, I would sit there listening to him, and then, you know, and I made the contrast between what Tito Puente and Rolando, you know, the different types, you know.
Right.
I didn't know, you know, how to break it up in my head at the time, you know, the difference in orchestras, you know, but they were both attractive to me, you know.
Right. Interesting, amazing. What was you listening to during that period mostly? Was it mostly like Latin music, or it was various types of music that you were listening to?
Various things happened, you know. I was fortunate enough, you know, like my aunt also liked jazz.
Right.
And I was listening to, through her, I was listening to Ponciana. Who did Ponciana? I was,
who did
Ahmed
Ponciana?
Jamal.
no, Ahmed Jamal. Yes, Ahmed Jamal. Thank you, Willie.
Thank you, Willie.
Right. Ahmed Jamal. And that's the first time I really sat down and listened to like a jazz group, you know.
Right.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And so I had, you know, I was going back and forth, you know.
Ray, you were also into Miles, right?
Yes. Well, a little later on, I got into Miles. Yeah. Definitely. And what attracted me to Miles, aside from Miles, is Philly Joe Jones, the drummer. You know, the first album I got by Miles was Milestones. And that, you know, I used to play that 24 hours a day, you know.
Yeah.
Album, you know. And that got me into more thinking about playing traps before I played timbales, you know.
Right. Now I wanted to ask you something, because I got really struck by something that really, you know, you wasn't to doo-wop music.
Yeah.
And I really shocked me. You know, it was like, wow, this is amazing. I mean, when I went on YouTube, I know you had mentioned it to me, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is really amazing. I mean, so could you tell me a little bit about the history of that particular period of time, about that group?
Okay.
The Van Dykes.
The Van Dykes, and none of us had a Van Dyke. We just had to make up a name at the time. You know, we had to make up this name, and because we were called the Temptations at first.
Right.
And then guess what? The Temptations come out, so we had to change our name to the Van Dykes. I don't know how that Van Dyke name came up, because we didn't have them, you know. So anyway, we all met in school. We were in high school at that time, or junior high school, and all neighborhood guys.
Right.
And you know, the general stuff, you know, standing on the corner and you know, having a little wine sip there, and doing the doo-wop thing. And then we formed, and some guy, a social worker, came down, heard us sing. He says he knows the guy from King Records. So he took us down to King Records. We did an audition for King Records. They liked it. They liked our song, which was, I think at the time, the song was, I heard the other day, Bells Are Ringing. We recorded it, and it became a big hit in Cleveland.
That's amazing.
And we went to a tour in Cleveland around there, and you know, it was a fun time also.
That's okay. You know, Cleveland rocks, so it's okay.
So
Ray, you also wrote some of the tunes for that doo-wop group, right?
I helped in writing. I participated. I didn't really write.
Because I saw one tune that you had actually written and you sang lead on, right?
Well, that's Roaches.
Yeah.
I did a tune, right. Roaches.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Roaches.
I don't know. We were just kidding around one night. That's a long time. I don't even know how that came up. It's all vague to me now, but we were just joking around. We just made it up as we were talking, and at that moment, we made up the song. You know, it wasn't something that we said, oh, let's write a song about roaches. No, we just started singing, you know, fooling around, joking about it. And, you know, it came out. So whatever came out is what came out, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was there a band, an actual leader to this group? Or
I'm sorry, say it again?
Was there like a, who was the actual leader of this group?
Tommy Rivera, which we later on became the bass player for Tony Pavon.
Okay,
and,
yes.
I can't think of the other guy.
That's your old bandmate.
Who?
Johnny's old bandmate.
Yes, Tommy Rivera, right.
Right, Tommy Rivera. So he is Sergio Rivera's uncle.
Right.
Piano player from Cruise Control.
Right.
And he had very good ear. You know, he was the real director. You know, he also harmonized. You know, showed us how to harmonize and everything.
Wow.
You know, I knew
Impressive.
nothing about harmony, but he has a good ear, and he put it together. You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's in
Wow.
Puerto Rico right now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Puerto Rico. Yeah, we speak every once in a while. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. He's a great friend. Okay, I got another question for you, Ray.
Okay.
Okay, so when did you first know, very early on in your early age, that you wanted to be a musician?
I used to have this friend of mine called Lenny Barletto, who had a conga, and I used to visit him, and he'd play records, and as he was playing, I said, "Man, I could do that." I got the inspiration from him.
Yeah.
Because it was he was live in front of me doing that.
Right.
I hadn't been to a club, to watch a band live. So I didn't know what that was. I only knew music for records, but he was playing the conga live for me, and I said, "Oh, this is interesting," So in talking, I figured, talking to him about it, said, "Yeah, buy some timbales, get some timbales, and he'll play conga, I'll play timbale, and we'll be, so, jam, as like kids do, I was
Yeah.
16, 17, maybe 18. I don't remember how old I was at the time.
Yeah, I think we all pretty much start at a very, very young age, somehow.
Before I got the timbale, my first timbale set was a lamp with a wooden shade.
I believe it.
A pencil, I made up my own little
Yeah.
thing, because I wanted to play, I wanted,
Yeah. In your family, Ray, was there anybody in your family that were musicians or?
No, nobody in my family were musicians.
Nope.
But my aunt was my inspiration, as I told you, watching her dance and also playing records in the house,
Yeah.
That's what got me interested,
Okay. Who was your most influential mentors and teachers in your life?
In teachers?
Yes.
The guy I mentioned before, Lenny Barletto, he was always ahead of the game on me. He explained what the tumbao was. Also the mambo bell on the timbales.
Right.
He started me off. Then there was that's a good question. It's so long ago. I can't remember names at the time. Charlie Chafe, I think Charlie. Do you hear of Charlie Chafe on 46th Street?
Don't recall.
Yeah, he used to work upstairs from Henry Adler, the music shop.
Yeah, Henry Adler, right?
Yeah, he used to work with Henry Adler, and I started with him when I learned that I had to build up my chops.
Right.
With a pad. That's when I went to him. That was my first teacher, with drum pads.
Right. Now, did you learn did he teach you like rudimental or?
Sure, yeah.
Like
paradiddle, this and this, and all that.
Yeah, flammadiddles and all that stuff. And wow, 5-stroke rolls and 7-stroke rolls.
Yeah. But at that time, I was fooled because I didn't really, I understand why they had to teach that way, because teaching a snare drum, you can't teach all those things, ba ba ba, all that noise, but a pad sort of takes you away from the real actual sound of the drum.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So it was kind of back and forth for me,
Yeah.
Because a pad doesn't give you the same bounce as a drum.
No,
it's sort of cheating. You get more bounce, but when you go to the drum, you got to work more your wrist.
Yep.
So it was one of those things. But we all had to go through that at that time.
Oh, definitely.
And a pad is still good just to keep you bouncing.
Yeah, I mean, it's good when you're home and just to keep yourself a little bit in shape. But you're right, it's a whole different tension.
Right.
When you're actually hitting the real drum.
Exactly.
And I guess you you kind of have to hold your sticks a certain way too, so you
Right.
can really get that bounce correctly,
Right.
especially if you're doing a stroke roll,
Right.
you know, a single stroke roll, which is to me was always the hardest for me,
Right.
you know. But yeah, we all go through it. That is so true. Yeah. So Ray, what schools did you attend for music?
For music, the only school I attended for music was Lehman College to get my master's there.
Okay, and what year did that take place around roughly?
Oh, oof. Now you're talking during the time it took place, I guess, in
Close.
to 90, 93, 94, around there.
Okay.
93, 94.
Interesting. What styles of music sparked your interest in music?
What styles?
Yeah.
Jazz, it's Latin. I like vocals. I like
A cappella?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was listening to a cappella today. Swan Brothers, I think they're called. And also I like Bach. I like Bach and
Yeah.
Man, I'm my mind is like, ooh.
I know. Don't worry. Just whatever, don't. It's okay.
Vivaldi, Bach, Vivaldi,
Vivaldi, yeah, Mozart and all them.
Right.
Yeah, great stuff. Great.
Right. I like that also. I like music, in general.
Yeah.
And even as I got older, I discovered like, Indian music, from India. It's
Yeah, it's music is music.
Everything,
Yeah, it's true.
Without music, man, music tells you the meaning of life.
Yes,
without
it does.
music, blank.
It certainly does.
You can't live without it.
No.
We got to express ourselves. Even people who are not musicians have to have an intake of music. And if you think that they're not musicians or not music, they're still playing music, because when they lift a pencil or they drop this, all those sounds are all rhythms.
Yeah.
Music.
So that's so true. That is so true. Yeah. Ray, what instrument is your preferred act?
Which instrument is my
preferred? Like your preferred, yeah.
I would prefer the timbales.
The timbales?
Yeah, preferably, Of course, I wish, I studied piano.
Right.
But I don't consider myself a piano player yet, but I like piano. I like, and I studied bass for a while, string bass.
Oh, just like me.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, for variety,
It's great. It's music it's just unbelievable how much I love music, and I'm like you do, I'm sure. It's just, you like all kinds of, you don't mind listening to any kind of music.
Right. No,
it's just amazing,
So, it's coming into here.
Yeah.
And it's doing something to you that's giving you some kind of a,
it's a healing process. It's a healing process, it's just great,
Ray, I have a question for you. What was the very first group that you joined? I would think it's when you were in your teens, I guess.
Yeah.
It sounded like you got into music early.
Right. Well, right before Ricardo Ray, I was playing with like neighborhood bands, just neighborhood bands.
And what type of music was that?
What we call salsa today, but at that time we called it mambo.
Mambo, yeah.
Right.
So where did the doo-wop fit in?
Before that, doo-wop was in like when I was 16, 17.
Okay, so going all the way back, was doo-wop where you started, or were there bands before that?
Because I recorded, doo-wop is where I started. You could say that.
Okay. Right. And you didn't play any instrument? You just sang?
I just sang, right.
Okay. And at what point did you decide you wanted to play an instrument?
As I said, hanging out with this guy, Lenny Barletto, a friend of mine. I think I was about 19.
Okay, but that was after you recorded with...
Yeah, after I recorded the doo-wop.
Van Dykes, yeah.
Yeah, right.
How long after was that? Or was that simultaneously?
No, maybe 2 years after, 2 or 3 years after that. you know. Then I decided to go. I was working in a candle factory, I remember, and I wanted to explore the world. I'm 19 or 20 years old already. I wanted to get out there. What am I doing here in this candle factory? So I took my last 2 paychecks, and I got on a Greyhound bus, and I said, "Goodbye, Mom. I'll see you later." And I went to California.
Oh.
And California, by the way, I was just starting timbales, but I brought my timbales with me.
Right.
And I played with a couple of groups there. I don't remember the guy's name, but he was a great vibe player. Great time. Did a couple of gigs, and that's when I first started. Everybody seemed to be more clave conscious at the time in California. They were talking about, clave this, clave that.
Right.
And I was okay, well, all right, boom, boom, boom. It still didn't sink in, it didn't sink in. And then when I got back to New York, was where I realized what they were really talking about in California,
Right.
They were more conscious of it. You never heard anybody talking about, I never heard anybody talking about clave in the sense, the way they were talking about it in California. It was always a topic of conversation over there,
Right.
But here, you had to know. New York, forget about talking about it. Do it,
Yeah.
That's what I experienced, right before Ricardo Ray, and then when I was with Ricardo Ray, it even came more apparent, because that's the first band that I played with steady, That's what I started learning how to play.
When you joined Ricardo Ray, you were in your early 20s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, but you knew them from way back, right?
Who knew who?
You knew Richie and Bobby Cruz?
Yeah, they're all neighborhood guys. Richie, his brother Ray Maldonado.
Yes, right.
Bobby Cruz, I went to school, the same school as Bobby Cruz, same neighborhood,
Oh, you talking about grammar school or junior high school?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Bobby Cruz, both.
So you knew them for a while.
Excuse me?
You knew them for a while before they even started the band.
Well, Bobby, I knew, like, hey, hello, goodbye. We see each other, like, people from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But when he needed a timbalero, he pointed to me, because I used to practice in my house. I used to practice down. I was just live on the first floor, and people used to just, I used to have the records on as I practiced, and people used to stand outside and listen to the records or listen to me practice.
Right.
Then I think he was one of the people coming by, So the one day when I got back from California, he stopped me in the street. He said, "Listen, you're playing timbales, right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm learning, blah, 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 blah. Come to the rehearsal. We're doing the thing, blah, blah, blah." So we took me to Richie's house. Richie Ray. Richie had his father built him a studio in the basement. And that's where we, like, I'm talking about, like, a real rehearsal studio, with the soundproof walls and everything.
Right.
So we started there, and, got a couple of gigs. We went up to the Catskills. We played up there, and that was a good time, because a good time to play, and especially for me, because we were there 6 nights a week playing up there, and we would rehearse during the day, and I would rehearse, on the side.
Right.
And just getting my chops together and learning what this is all about, because we rehearsed and played at night. So we came back to New York. I don't know how, Fonseca Records of Bobby Cruz was friends with Fonseca, and Fonseca recorded us. And through the first recording, I think it was Come Hang.
Right.
somehow Dick Ricardo Sugar. You guys remember Dick Ricardo Sugar?
Oh,
Sure do.
definitely, sure do.
He used to have that show I think at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I remember rushing home from school, or wherever I was, I got to hear Dick Ricardo Sugar. So anyway, they brought the record over to Dick Ricardo Sugar, and from there, that's how Richie got started. One of our first gigs was in the Village Gate, opposite Tito Puente, my hero.
Your hero. Everybody's hero.
Right.
So I got a little question for you, Ray. Listening to the Comehen album, I was listening to Mambo Jazz. You had a very unique style of approach, or the approach, when you listen to that song, sort of more like you were playing timbales, but you were adapting a drum style to what you were playing, which was amazing, which not too many guys were doing. I feel anyway, So was that something you just felt, or did you have like drumming in your thoughts?
Well, a lot of it, I think, had to do with Richie. Richie and I got along well.
Yeah.
In the sense that we also both like jazz. Richie's a jazz complacent jazz.
Accomplished jazz pianist, sure.
So in the process, like I just finished telling you, like when we were in the Catskills, he and I would hang out, and then Ski would come in, and then we were able to play some, what I consider jazz. I knew the basic on the cymbal,
Yeah.
Ding. But we would do things like that, and that may have come out of that, what you're saying, because we hung out and, we played some jazz. We were pretty free up there, just playing. We had the whole day to play, so that was good. So there's a section in the Mambo Jazz thing where Richie said, play, we're gonna go from the Latin rhythm to straight jazz.
Right.
For 4 bars, I think it was, And I thought it was a good idea. I said, yeah, okay, let's try it. So we tried it, it worked, and then we put it on the recording, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I could, when I listen to you play, especially on that song, is like your approach to even the breaks,
right.
It's like, wow, it sounds like, yeah, he is playing timbales, but his approach is like, for the song, it's like he's playing a trap drum.
Okay.
When it came to like those kind of licks that you were doing,
right.
I mean, I probably would have never thought of something like that, that's what I mean. So I think it's great. Yeah, phenomenal. So Ray, what would you like to see happen in the music scene? Let's say
now,
today, yeah.
Today, well, I don't know, there's something that you can't control. I could say that I wish the Latinos, I could speak for them, if I could speak for them, would go back and listen to things that were here before, because what I'm hearing today is, for me, my own personal opinion, is not too varied,
Right.
Before, the band used to have soloists, I'm talking about the Mambo days, the 50s, the Tito Puente days, and the 70s or early 80s. The band was featured, had soloists, had and then the singer. But now, then somewhere along the line, it only turned into the singer, right? And the band was like part of the curtains.
Yeah, part of the curtains.
So I wish that music came back to that, but you can't control that. It's hard. I'm glad that I lived in the era that was wonderful like that.
Right.
Because I had to look back. Like, where does this music come from? Like, you go back to Cuba. You think Cuba. So whoa. Then you start listening to that, then you hear Wawanko, and you hear, then you realize, and I put that together, and that inspires you, and you do what you need to do, so today it just seems, my own opinion now, it seems too sterile. It seems very sterile, you don't hear the Latin
No.
influence, you know, in my opinion.
I call it the assembly line.
Well, okay, that's a good way to put it.
That's
you know?
my terminology of it, because it has a lot of technical, but it's missing the flavor.
Yes, okay.
And the other thing that I find is that there are a lot of great percussionists out there, phenomenal, the stuff that they can do, what they can accomplish, but you can distinguish the different players
Right.
like you could back in our time. I mean, you knew who Tito Puente was. You
Right.
knew who Ray Cruz was.
Right.
You knew who
Right.
Jimmy Sabater was.
Right. Right.
You knew who Oreste Vilator was.
Right.
But today I don't see that.
Right.
It's
Right.
just too technical. It's, you know, the ability, oh, you know what, I can play an 85 stroke roll. Oh, that's great and dandy, but you know what, there's just no body, no flavor to it.
Mhm.
It's like a straight line, kind
Right.
of.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Uh,
Willie,
Yeah, you know, I wanted
sorry,
to find out from Ray one thing. How long were you with Richie?
Oh, phew. I think a good 5 years,
oh, it's a long time.
I think. You know.
And
time.
you recorded about what, 3 LPs with him?
Well, I remember, this is a strange story. The first album, all right, I recorded with him, but for Fonseca, we would go in and we record other songs. We record, Richie's arrangements.
Right.
We record a lot of things, so that when I left the band, they put out those recordings, of which I didn't know they put them out, and then when I left the band, the other timbalero got credit for what I was doing, and I was getting credit for what he was doing. It was mismatched. They didn't take care of the the credit thing.
All the sequence stuff, it was like off sequence.
Right, so I only remember, the first album, Richie Ray. After that, stuff came out, it was mixed this and that.